Yá'át'ééh, friends. Hi, everybody. It's a gorgeous day, and I am very excited that you guys are joining me to read another book. Okay, I have a great book today. It's a book that I've read to my kids maybe once or twice, but it has such a impactful meaning that I wanted to share it with you. It is called In the Time of the Drums. So Yá'át'ééh to you. Yá'át'ééh, hello. Thank you so much for coming to this video. Let's get started. In the Time of the Drums by Kim Siegelson. In the long ago time before now, on an island fringed by marsh meadows and washed by ocean tides, men and women and their children lived enslaved. This was the time when giant live oaks trembled with the sound of drums. And say some, it was a time when people could walk beneath the water. Used to be in those early days, ships as big as barns would land at a dock on a bluff near Tea Kettle Creek. Pirate ships with treasures to bury, cargo ships filled with cinnamon, slave ships bringing African people to do work on plantation farms. Some of those Africans came knowing how to carve wood and make sweet grass baskets and goatskin drums. With those things, they reminded themselves of home, wished to go back there. A boy named of Mentu had never known Africa or longed for it. He was an island-born boy. Mentu could scoot to the top of a live oak faster than the brush-tailed squirrel, could lift a black iron skillet above his head with one hand, even though he still wore shirt tails. "Look how strong I am," he would say to his grandmother Twee. Twee would smile and cluck her tongue at him. "Stop your fooling, lest the overseer catch you, sir. Your time for strong will come soon. Come soon enough." "When?" Mentu would ask. Twee would not say. Mentu has always lived with Twee. The islanders, black and white, all feared her. Africa had been her birthplace. There she had learned powerful root magic at her own grandmother's knee. Ibu Conjure Woman, the islanders called her. Older than anyone living, they said. But Mentu paid them no mind, had only known kindness from Twee. You see, Twee loved Mentu like her own soul, like the faraway rivers and mountains of her native land. Some said his first breath had come from her own mouth, that as a new babe he had been still until she whispered the secret of life into his tongue. He had wailed at the truth of it and waved his fists at her, and at the charm bag she held out at him. "Not with fists," she had said, gathering him against her chest. "Listen close and learn how to be strong." He had slept to the sound of Twee's heart. Every day Mentu went with Twee to take water to the fields. Could carry 2 full buckets by himself. Strong as that made him seem, he was a mischief-making boy child all the same. "The bucket handles pinched my hands," he sometimes complained to Twee. "You carry the water for me today." "Nah, sir," she would say, and cluck her tongue. "Twee can't be taking up your burden from you. Look out to the field workers when your hands are aching and count your luck. Soon it will be your time to be strong, and Twee won't be helping you then." "How will I know when to be strong, if you don't tell me?" Mentu said. Twee still would not answer. She knew many secrets. She shared only what she wanted. Mentu looked to the fields and watched the people bend beneath the blistering sun to slave in soil planted with cotton and cane and blue indigo seed. Saw how they worked from dark of morning to dark of night, harvesting what they could not keep. Twee told them that the long, hard work had broken them, made memories of Africa sink so far in the back of their minds that they could no longer be reached. The old ways had slowly slipped away and been left behind like sweet drops in a newly plowed row. But Twee remembered the time before, spoke the old words to herself in the morning while she worked, sang African songs to Mentu in the afternoon until he could sing them back. At dinner, told him old stories so rich that he could almost smell the sweet-scented air of her homeland. Put the skin drum between her own knees and taught him ancient rhythms until they felt as natural to him as his own heart beating. Then come a day so hot even the gnats hushed their whining to sit among the tree shadows. In that breathless quiet, Mentu and Twee filled their buckets with well water. But before they could carry them to the fields, they heard the sound of drums beating from the far end of the island. Bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom. It was a message in rhythm that meant, "A ship is come, a ship is come." Mentu beat his own drum. B-E bow, B-E bow. We hear, we hear. He and Twee gathered with everyone else at the bluff to see what the ship had brought in. It flew a Spanish flag, but it did not carry gold or jewels or sweet spices from India. The ship held a whole village of Ibu people from the African kingdom of Benin. They had been captured by the ship's owners and brought to the island to be sold. Their ride across the ocean passage had been long, with many days spent in the airless dark beneath the pitching decks of the ship. When the ship docked at the bluff, the Ibu people could no longer hear the crash of the ocean waves, only the groan of the ship, the flapping sails, and their own harsh breathing. They trembled and waited quietly, listening to learn something of their fate. Through the wooden side of the ship came the sound of the island drums, the music of Africa. "Has some magic brought us home?" they cried. They drummed in answer, using their feet on the wooden floor. Mentu heard the rumble of their pounding feet, and it spoke to him like the beating of his heart. "We are home, we are home," the people drummed, but they were far from home. Mentu and Twee watched the Ibu people brought up from the darker hole of the ship into the light, saw how they squinted into the sun, how they looked out over the unfamiliar marsh meadows in despair. The ship had not returned them to Africa, would never take them home again. Try as the ship's captain might to make them move, the Ibu people refused to set a foot on the island. Mentu turned away when the overseer lashed them with his whip. But the people would not budge for the whip, just joined their hands tight together and began to chant a song in their own language. Mentu listened as though his soul lived in his ears. He heard Twee's music in their song, old words from the place where she had been born. "What are they saying?" he said. "Sounds like magic." Twee's eyes glistened like moon sparkle on dark water. "Old magic, long forgot, boy," she whispered. "The people want to go home. Say the water brought 'em, 'cause the passage, and it can take 'em back for true." She sung her charm bag around Mentu's neck. "That water can take me on, too, Mentu. You are old enough. Your time to be strong is near." His grandmother shook her head. "Water won't take you. You was born here. Won't take the others, 'cause they forgot too much." "But you have taught me all of your secrets, Twee," Mentu said. "You haven't told me when my time will come." Twee clucked her tongue at him, still a mischief-making boy child. "Twee has taught you many things, Mentu, more secrets than you think. But I will tell you one more. Your time to be strong will come back when your back is bent in the fields and your hands are stuck full of cotton spurs, because then the old ways will try to grow weak inside you. Don't let them. Takes a mighty strength not to forget who you are, where you come from, to help others remember it too. Now I must leave you, my child, my heart." Then Twee kissed Mentu, fast as a dragonfly, took off running, and as she ran, the years melted from her like butter on ash cake. Her back drew up straight, her hair grew dark and thick with braids, and her skin smooth until she looked like the young woman who had been taken from Africa those many years before. The islanders feared Twee more than ever when they saw this happen, and they fell back to let her pass. No one tried to stop her. From the bluff, she held her hands out to the Ibu people on the dock and spoke to them. "Come with me, my brothers and sisters. I will take you home." Mentu wept as the people crossed the dock to join the young Twee on the land. The slave catchers tried to slip ropes around their necks and arms to hold them back, but couldn't. The rope slipped through flesh and bone like it was smoke and seawater. Twee clasped hands with the Ibu people and led them down the bluff to the water's edge. "Twee," Mentu called out to her, but she would not turn it back, even for him. She chanted as she led the people waist deep into the waters of Tea Kettle Creek. Mentu wiped away his tears and chanted with her in a voice as strong as he could make it. "The water can take us home. The water can take us home." He tried to run to her, but found his feet fastened to the land so that he could not move. Twee and the other Ibu people lifted their faces to the sky as water crept over their shoulders and then their necks. But they kept walking as their chains snapped away. "The water can take us home," they sang. "It can take us home." Their song dissolved into bubble and foam as Tea Kettle Creek swirled over the tops of their heads. Mentu's feet suddenly pulled away from the ground, and he ran to the water, but he couldn't see Twee or the Ibu people beneath its surface. In time, Mentu swore to everyone left behind that Twee and the Ibus had walked all the way back to Africa on the bottom of the ocean, pulling each other along the sandy floors, pushing aside seaweed like long grass. But their chains and their songs will never leave Tea Kettle Creek, others said, and the water there will always be salty as tears. The islanders called that place Ibu's Landing, stopped fishing there, and never cast another net in Tea Kettle Creek for fear of pulling up those chains sunk deep in soft gray mud. Shivered when snowy egrets rose from the marsh grass like spirits in the evening. As for Mentu, he learned to be strong in the fields beneath the blistering sun, just as Twee has told him. He sang her old songs to himself while he worked his children until they could sing them back to him. He told stories so rich that they wondered if he had lived in Africa himself, and he played rhythms on the skin drum until they felt their own heartbeats in time. Gave them their own drums, and they all played together. Mentu and his children, and they taught their own children, and they taught theirs. Through slave time and freedom time, and up until now time. For true, it takes a mighty strength not to forget. The end. In the time of the drums. Thank you for reading with me. I chose that book because it's always apparent in my mind every day as a Native mother to continue the spirit that I have of my ancestors to my kids. And this is one of those books that kind of portrays that spirituality and the ancestral bond that, grandmothers or mothers or parents, grandparents can have with their kids. And especially in a culture, Native culture, that's really important to my family. So thank you for sharing this moment with me. If you heard kids, I'm actually at a park reading, but I wish you good health, and I wish you good mind, good heart, good spirit, and I just hope you're doing well, and thank you so much for reading with me. Yá'át'ééh, and I pass along beauty to you, Njo'niet, Hagonet. Thank you.